Good evening, my friends. I am so glad to be here with you today because we're going to talk about something very important. We're going to talk about aging, and not just the graceful kind that gets written about in poetry or seen on those greeting cards. No, we're talking about real, practical aging, the kind that sneaks up on you, changes your knees, messes with your memory, and sometimes plays cruel games with your self-esteem. But more than anything, we're going to talk about what not to do. Because yes, we all age. If we're lucky, we all get old. But we don't have to ruin it for ourselves. And unfortunately, so many people do. Now listen to me. Aging is not a punishment. It is not a disease. It's not something shameful, and it's certainly not something to fear. But it is something to respect. And if we don't respect it, we end up making some very big mistakes, and these mistakes, they rob us. They take our happiness, our health, and in some cases, our very sense of purpose. And we're not going to let that happen to you. Not on my watch. So get comfortable, maybe grab a nice tea or a little wine. Yes, I said it, even now, a little pleasure is good for the soul. And let's talk. The first mistake, and it's a big one, is letting loneliness creep in like a thief in the night. I'm going to be very honest with you. Loneliness is a killer. It doesn't just make you sad, it makes you sick. It raises your blood pressure, it weakens your immune system, and it eats away at your brain, and the worst part, it's sneaky. People think, oh, I'm just fine on my own, I like my peace and quiet. And yes, peace and quiet is lovely. But isolation, that's different, that's dangerous. You see, we human beings, we are pack animals. We need touch, conversation, laughter. We need to be seen. So when you stop picking up the phone, when you stop accepting invitations, when you say, I don't want to bother anyone, you're not being noble, you're being unkind to yourself. Reach out, join something, even if you feel silly, even if you don't know anyone, even if you're shy. Volunteer at the library, take a dance class, join a book club. And for heaven's sake, say yes when someone wants to take you out to lunch. You think they're doing it out of obligation, maybe, but you'll both leave feeling better. Second big mistake. And this one is a heartbreak. It's letting your body become your enemy. You know what I mean. You get older, the aches come, the energy goes, and suddenly you start treating your body like it betrayed you. You ignore it, you punish it, you give up on it. You stop walking, you stop stretching, you eat whatever's easiest, and you say things like, well, what's the point at my age? And that, my friends, is poison. Your body is not the enemy. It is your oldest, most faithful companion. It's taken you through everything. Every adventure, every heartbreak, every first kiss, every long walk, every holiday meal. It was your body that carried you there. Yes, it's older now. Maybe it's softer. Maybe it hurts more, but it is still yours and it deserves your love. You don't have to run marathons, but walk, move, stand up straight, feed yourself like someone you love, because the truth is, you are not done. Not even close, and your body will rise to the occasion if you just stop giving up on it. Now the third mistake. This one might surprise you. It's refusing to talk about sex, intimacy, or desire. Yes, I said it. And I'll say it again. Sex, intimacy, desire, because guess what? Those don't die when you hit 60 or 70 or 80. They don't evaporate like steam. No, they evolve, they deepen, they get wiser. But they are still there, and when you ignore them, pretend they're gone, or worse, feel ashamed of them, you cut yourself off from a whole part of your humanity. I have talked to so many people in their later years, beautiful, kind, intelligent people, who feel embarrassed about wanting connection, who feel like they should just let it go. Nonsense, touch is healing. A hug, a kiss, holding hands, it matters. Whether it's romance, a companion, or just emotional closeness, it matters. And I am not saying everyone must go out and date. Some people are happily single and fine that way. But if you want intimacy, you are allowed to want it. You are entitled to want it. And if you're in a relationship, don't stop talking about it. Keep the channels open. Laugh, experiment, be silly together. There is no expiration date on affection. Fourth mistake, and this one is a silent destroyer. It's clinging to bitterness and refusing to forgive. Oh, I know this one hurts. It's hard. You've lived a long life and people have let you down. Maybe they hurt you deeply. Maybe you never got the apology you deserved. Maybe you lost someone too soon. Maybe you didn't become the person you thought you would. I understand. I really do. But if you carry all that pain into your later years like a suitcase full of rocks, you are the one who suffers most. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It's not even about letting them off the hook. It's about letting you off the hook. You can't go back and change it, but you can decide not to let it poison your peace today. You deserve freedom from that weight. And sometimes the person you need to forgive most is yourself. You did the best you could. You loved the best you could. You survived. That is enough. Please let it go. You still have time. Use it to make peace, not only with others, but with your own heart. And finally, the fifth mistake. This one is tricky. It's thinking that life is only meant for the young. Oh, what a terrible lie that is. We see it everywhere. The ads, the movies, the media. They all worship youth like it's the only time worth living. And it's not true, not at all. In fact, some of the best years can come later, but only if you stop sitting on the sidelines. Only if you stop thinking your story is over. You are not too old to try something new. You are not too old to take a trip, fall in love, learn a language, plant a garden, write a book, or start again. The only person who can decide that you're done is you. And why would you do that? Why would you decide the most experienced, most seasoned, most richly flavored version of you has nothing left to offer? Listen to me. You are still growing. You are still becoming. The world still needs what only you can give: your wisdom, your laughter, your stories, your kindness. Don't shrink. Don't disappear. Don't sit quietly in the corner like your life has been packed away in a box labeled used to be. Take up space. Be curious. Say yes. Start something, even if it's small. Even if it's messy. Even if you're scared. Do not confuse comfort with joy. Comfort is nice, but joy requires risk. A little bit of risk. A little bit of surprise. A little spark. Keep the spark alive, and life will keep surprising you. And isn't that what we really want? Not safety, not perfection, but to still feel something, to still be moved, to still care. I know this aging thing isn't easy. Some days it feels like you're saying goodbye to parts of yourself over and over again. But every time you say goodbye to something, you have the chance to say hello to something else. A slower pace, maybe, but also deeper friendships, more honesty, a sense of humor about things that used to drive you crazy. Time to notice the sky, time to sit with someone and really talk. Time to understand who you are without all the noise. So please, don't make these mistakes. Don't isolate. Don't neglect your beautiful body. Don't silence your longing for love and touch. Don't carry that heavy, unforgiving heart. And don't, for 1 second, believe that your best days are behind you, because they're not. Not if you don't let them be. You're here, you're breathing, you're listening. That means you're still in the game. And my dear, I want you to play. And while we're at it, let's talk about something else that people tend to brush under the rug as they grow older. The deep, often quiet feeling that their life is no longer meaningful. You won't hear people say it out loud, not usually. But you'll see it in the way they move through the day, slowly, as if their presence doesn't matter much anymore. That is a lie. It is a lie the world sometimes tells you when it gets too busy and too noisy to remember its elders. But just because the world forgets how to listen doesn't mean you stop having something to say. You do. In fact, what you say now matters more than ever, because the perspective you carry is rare. You've seen cycles repeat. You've watched decades unfold. You've lived through loss and change and all those small miracles that the young don't yet know how to name. So don't fall for the illusion that your story is over. It's not over until it's over. Until then, you have something to contribute. Let me tell you something else, and I say this with all the love in my heart. Too many older people make the mistake of becoming rigid, stiff in their thinking. Resistant to change, they say things like "back in my day," or "that's not how we used to do it." And sure, sometimes that's said with charm, but too often it becomes a wall, a refusal to evolve. And do you know what happens when you stop adapting? You start shrinking. You start disappearing into a past that doesn't exist anymore. Now, I'm not saying throw away your values or forget where you came from. Absolutely not. But growth is not just for the young. It's for the wise too. And wisdom means knowing when it's time to let go of an old idea and try on a new one, even if it feels strange at first. You don't have to understand every trend. You don't have to love all the music, but you can choose to stay open. Ask your grandchild to explain their favorite video game. Try a new type of food. Learn to use that phone that confuses the hell out of you. Why? Because it reminds you that life is still moving, and you are still part of it. Let curiosity carry you through aging, not just nostalgia. Nostalgia is sweet, yes, but too much of it becomes a kind of trap. If you only ever talk about the past, the future starts to look like a closed door, and that's not how it has to be. Let me tell you a little secret. People will mirror how you treat yourself. If you act like you're fragile, they will tiptoe around you. If you act like you're irrelevant, they will forget to include you. If you say, "I'm too old for that," enough times they'll believe you. And then one day you'll look around and wonder why you feel invisible. So don't disappear on purpose. Don't become a shadow in your own story. Speak up, laugh loudly, complain when it's worth complaining, and compliment when someone does something good. Be present, be vibrant, be willing to surprise people with your joy. And oh, joy, let's linger there a little, shall we? Because that's something else older people often forget they're allowed to feel. Real joy, not just contentment, not just the absence of problems, but genuine why, died bell, laughing soul, filling joy. It's still possible, but it takes effort. You can't sit still and wait for joy to knock on your door. Sometimes you have to go out and chase it. And sometimes joy looks different now. Maybe it's not dancing all night, but watching the birds in the morning. Maybe it's not a wild romance, but a slow, deep companionship. Maybe it's not chasing dreams, but watching your grandchildren chase theirs. But whatever it is, don't stop looking for it. Don't decide you've had your share. Life doesn't ration out joy. It just waits to be noticed. Let's not pretend that aging doesn't come with grief. It does. You lose people, you lose places. Sometimes you lose pieces of your identity. Retirement is a strange shift for many people. Who are you when you're not working, when no one needs you at 9 a.m. every morning? When the titles fall away and it's just you in the quiet, that's a hard adjustment. It's real, but it's also a chance, a blank page. The job may be over, but your ability to create, to give, to impact, that doesn't end. You can be useful in new ways, mentor someone, start that project you never had time for, be a shoulder for someone who's where you were 30 years ago. Your worth is not in your job title, it's in your presence. Your wisdom, your kindness, don't let the world define your usefulness, define it for yourself. Let me say something else that people are often too afraid to talk about: money. A lot of people make the mistake of being reckless with their finances when they're younger and then feel ashamed or trapped when they're older. Or on the flip side, they hoard every cent out of fear and never allow themselves to enjoy a bit of what they've earned. Either way, it's the fear that controls them, fear of not having enough, fear of running out, fear of being a burden, and fear will steal your freedom. So here's my advice: get help if you need it. Ask questions. Make a plan. Talk to someone who understands these things. There's no shame in it. And once you have a plan, live. If you can afford to take that trip, take it. If you want to treat yourself to something nice, do it. You've spent decades earning it. It's okay to enjoy what you've worked for. Just be smart and don't let guilt stop you from experiencing joy. And you know what else destroys happiness? Guilt, shame, regret. Older people carry around these heavy bags of "I should have," and "if only I had." Like it's their job. Listen to me. Regret is a natural part of life. We all have moments we'd change if we could. But the older you get, the more important it becomes to stop living in the courtroom of your past. You can't change it. You can only change how you carry it. Instead of letting it weigh you down, use it. Let it soften you. Let it make you more compassionate. Let it teach you and then move forward. Every day you wake up is a chance to start fresh. If you need to apologize, do it. If you need to forgive, do it. But don't let those old ghosts haunt your good years. They've had enough of your time. And please, don't become one of those people who stops dreaming, who stops hoping. I know it sounds like a cliché, but it's true. The moment you stop imagining a better tomorrow, you stop really living. Dreams don't have to be huge. They don't have to be grand. They can be simple and beautiful and totally your own. Plant a tree and dream of the shade it'll give someone you love. Start a painting, even if it's messy. Write a letter to someone you haven't spoken to in years. Look up at the stars and wonder about the universe. That's dreaming. That's hope, and it's not just for the young. Hope is fuel for the soul at any age. And I will say this, too many people stop telling their stories. That is a mistake, because your stories, your real, personal, lived stories, are treasures. Don't think that no one wants to hear them. Maybe your kids roll their eyes when you start the same story again, but deep down they're listening. Maybe they won't understand it now, but one day they will wish they had asked more. So write your stories down. Record them, share them, pass on the recipes, the family legends, the memories that make your life yours. You are a living history book. Don't let all those pages disappear when you're gone. I also want to remind you of something else, something simple but easy to forget. You are allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to start over. You're allowed to say, "I thought I wanted this, but now I don't." There's no rule that says your choices are set in stone. Maybe you tried retirement and realized you miss working. Maybe you've always lived in the city and now want to be near the ocean. Maybe you thought you'd never fall in love again, and then, surprise. That's life. It surprises you, but only if you let it. Only if you stay open to possibility. Don't lock yourself in with old expectations. You're evolving. That's a good thing. And while we're talking about evolving, don't underestimate the power of small routines. When life feels unstable or uncertain, which it sometimes does as you get older, simple routines can anchor you. A walk every morning, tea in the afternoon, a weekly phone call with a friend, a Sunday ritual. These things may seem small, but they give your days shape. They tell your brain, this is life, this is normal, this is mine. You don't need grand gestures to feel grounded. You just need consistency, something that feels like home. And my dear, while you're living and trying and dreaming and stretching, please remember to laugh. Some people get so serious as they age. They think dignity means being solemn, but no, dignity and joy go hand in hand. Laughter is a healing thing. It keeps the spirit young. Laugh with your friends. Laugh at yourself. Watch something silly. Tell your old jokes. You've earned the right to be light-hearted. Life is heavy enough without you piling more seriousness onto it. Let yourself have fun. You're not too old for fun. You're never too old for fun. Aging isn't about fading away. It's about becoming more fully yourself. With each year, the mask can come off a little more. You can be braver, softer, sharper, kinder. You get to choose what kind of older person you want to be. Be the one who inspires others, not by being perfect, but by being real, open-hearted, curious, grateful. Engaged. Aging with grace doesn't mean pretending things don't hurt. It means showing up anyway, with all your beautiful imperfections, and saying, I'm still here. I still matter. And you matter. Not because of what you do, or what you produce, or how many people remember your name. You matter because you exist, because you are a spark of life in a vast, mysterious world, and that spark, that presence, that uniqueness is needed. Just as much now as ever. You know what else I see far too often as people age? A loss of curiosity, and I'm telling you, that is not a natural part of growing old. It's a mistake. You were born curious. You were born to poke things, to ask questions, to wonder why the moon changes shape and why people fall in love, and why tears come sometimes when you least expect them. That spark, that question inside you, it doesn't go away just because your hair turns gray. No, it goes away because you stop feeding it, you stop listening to it, you stop giving yourself permission to be amazed, and that, my dear, is a tragedy. There are still books you haven't read. There are still ideas you haven't encountered. There are still people out there, people with accents, with different stories, with new opinions, who could stretch your mind if you gave them 5 minutes of honest attention. You don't need to travel the world to keep growing. You just need to stay open, stay interested, keep asking why, what else, how does that feel, what do you think? That's how you stay young, not by fighting wrinkles with cream, but by refusing to let your mind close up like an attic door. And if we're being honest, staying open also means being willing to be wrong. That's hard, that's humbling, but it's freeing. When you let go of the need to always be right, especially about how the world used to be or how things should be, you get to enjoy the present moment so much more. You get to have conversations instead of arguments. You get to listen instead of lecture. And when you do that, you give yourself the gift of learning something new. You can still evolve even now, especially now. The older you are, the more you've earned the right to ask better questions instead of clinging to outdated answers. There's another mistake I see too often, and it makes me want to shake people, lovingly, of course. It's this belief that pain is something to be hidden or ashamed of. That's not just a mistake, that's a deep disservice to your own experience. We all carry pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, grief, regret, loneliness, illness, the ache of watching others suffer. There's no escaping it. But when you bury it, when you smile too much to cover it, when you pretend you're fine because you don't want to be a burden, you end up cutting yourself off from connection. You don't have to be cheerful all the time. You don't have to be stoic. You can say, this hurts. You can say, I miss them. You can say, I'm scared. There is strength in softness. There is healing in naming your pain. And when you do, when you stop pretending, you invite others to be honest too. You create space for real intimacy, the kind that says, we're both human, and it's okay to not have it all figured out. That kind of truth is medicine, and you know what's equally important, celebrating your joys out loud. Sometimes older people feel silly showing excitement, as if they're supposed to be above all that, as if enthusiasm belongs to the young. That's nonsense. If anything, joy becomes more precious with age. You've seen how fast things change. You know how fleeting life can be. So when something delights you, say so. When the soup tastes good, say so. When you feel proud of yourself, say so. Don't mute your emotions just because you've lived a long time. Your feelings don't expire, they deepen, let them, and for heaven's sake, Stop comparing your aging journey to someone else's. That's one of the biggest ways people rob themselves of peace. You know the kind of thing I'm talking about. She looks so much younger than me. Or he's still running marathons. Or they've got a whole social calendar and I barely leave the house. Comparing is a trap. There is no right way to age. There is only your way, your timeline, your health, your history, your circumstances, and it's sacred. Be careful of envy. It sneaks in quietly, wearing the mask of inspiration. But sometimes it just makes you feel worse about yourself. Inspiration is beautiful, but only if it encourages you to live more fully as yourself, not as someone else. Don't fall into the myth that aging well means looking younger. It doesn't. It means becoming more aligned with who you really are, more honest, more whole, more free. The goal isn't to stay young. The goal is to age consciously. To do it with both eyes open and your heart open too. And let's not forget the spiritual side of growing older. I don't mean religion necessarily, though if that's your path, beautiful. I mean that deeper hunger we all feel for something beyond ourselves. For meaning, for connection, for peace. Don't ignore that. Don't distract yourself from it with television or trivial worries. Feed your spirit. Sit in silence sometimes. Walk in nature. Listen to music that lifts you. Talk to someone about the big questions. Read something that stirs your soul. Make art even if it's not good. Light a candle. Say thank you to the sky. You don't have to understand it perfectly. You just have to be willing to engage with it. One of the gifts of aging, yes, gifts, is that your ego can finally get quieter. You've already proved yourself. You don't need to compete. You don't need to impress. You don't need to accumulate trophies or win arguments. That leaves room for a kind of presence that's rare in younger years. You can be here now, not chasing anything, not escaping anything, just being. It's not always easy, but when you catch those moments, when you're sitting in the sun with a cup of something warm and nothing urgent pulling at you, that's sacred. That's what people mean when they talk about contentment. But don't confuse contentment with stagnation. Keep growing. Let yourself evolve in ways that surprise even you. Let yourself say, I never thought I'd feel this way. And then follow where that feeling leads. Be flexible with your own identity. Maybe you were always the strong one, the responsible one, the one who held it all together, and maybe now you're allowed to be the one who leans, the one who cries, the one who asks for help. That's not weakness, that's growth. And if you're struggling right now, if you're tired, if your health is changing, if you've lost someone you loved, please know that you are not broken. You are not being punished. You are not falling apart. You are transitioning. Every stage of life has its valleys, but you don't have to walk through them alone. Let people in. Let them show up for you. You don't have to be cheerful to be lovable. You don't have to be doing fine to deserve support. Your vulnerability is not a flaw. It's a doorway to deeper love. There's a quiet kind of courage that comes with age. You've seen enough to know that life is messy, unpredictable, and often unfair. And yet, you still get up. You still love people. You still try. That's bravery. Celebrate it. Recognize it in yourself. You don't need medals. You need to look in the mirror and say, I've lived. I'm still living. That matters. Make your home a place of comfort and beauty, even if it's just one cozy chair by the window. Make small rituals that honor the passage of time, a cup of tea at sunset, a candle lit for someone you miss, a daily walk where you say hello to the trees. These are not little things. These are the things that make a life feel meaningful. The sacred hides in the ordinary. Don't miss it. And never, ever stop expressing love. Tell people you care about them. Call your old friends, write the letter, hug longer, laugh louder. Send that silly message that makes someone smile. The world is full of distractions, and it's easy to forget what matters most. But as you age, you know, love is the only thing that truly lasts. So don't hold it back. Don't ration it. Spread it generously. You'll never run out. You are a mirror for younger people. They are watching you, even when you think they're not. They're learning how to age from you. They're learning whether it looks like giving up or whether it looks like becoming more vibrant. You don't have to pretend everything is perfect, but you can show them that growing old doesn't mean disappearing. It means arriving fully, bravely, honestly. So breathe deep, look around. This is your life right now. Not the one you had 20 years ago, not the one you planned, the one you're in, and it is worthy. You are worthy, still, always. So, my dear, as you move through these later chapters of life, remember this: you are not done. You are not diminished. You are not irrelevant. You are becoming something richer, wiser, more essential. But to truly live into that, you must resist the 5 great mistakes: letting your world shrink, burying your emotions, clinging to the past, ignoring your health, and cutting yourself off from love and curiosity. Don't make those mistakes. Choose life, choose connection, choose growth. Every single day that you wake up is a chance to be more fully yourself. So keep showing up, with courage, with honesty, and with joy, because your story is still being written, and it matters.